Hey guys, so in this episode, we're going to talk about Zomato. What's been happening with the results, what's happening with the Blinkit acquisition, and we're going to look at all of that in today's episode, so stay tuned.
Food delivery giant Zomato has come out with a new plan to deliver food at our doorsteps in just 10 minutes.
Zomato is reportedly in talks to merge with the online grocery company Blinkit in an all-stock deal.
और ये पीछे जुलाई में जब इसने अपने हाल में लोस बनाए थे उन लोस से लेके अब तक करीब 66% का गिन आ चुका है।
पिछले महीने में इसने नीचे की तरफ तोड़ा, लेकिन एक अच्छी बात है कि वहां से ये बाउंस बैक भी कर चुका स्टॉक, तो इसलिए ये पॉजिटिव इंडिकेशन है।
चार्ट के हिसाब से देखा जाए तो लार्जर टर्म टाइम का जो चार्ट है वो तो वीक है, लेकिन 50 तक बहुत 50-51 तक बहुत रेजिस्टेंस।
More pain ahead for Zomato. Valuation guru Ashwath Damodaran downgrades the stock valuation to 35 rupees from his current prediction of 41 rupees. Damodaran's assessment expects a potential downside of over 19%.
Good luck to Zomato. That is valuation will be 90,000 crores and let Tesla be 6 trillion. I am not going to buy these stocks in this way.
कि लोगों का कहना है कि इस तरह की सर्विस से अपने डिलीवरी बॉयज उनकी जान को खतरे में डाल रही है और उनकी जान के साथ साथ सड़क पर जो दूसरे लोग हैं उनकी जान को भी खतरे में डाल रही है।
Of course, we can't please everyone, so that's true for everybody.
Zomato.
Zomato.
Now, if we look at Zomato, the night is darkest just before the dawn. Now, me as a startup founder myself, I fully support startups, right? They are critical for innovation and employment generation in our country right now. They also provide a beautiful flywheel effect to the development of the country and its education system. But most startups really play with our heads, and this is one of those startups, right? Now, do they really have a scope in our country, or are they just existing to burn the money of investors and then eventually do an IPO and then burn our money as well? And one of those startups we're going to talk about is Zomato, right? Now, Zomato came forward with their IPO last year simply because they had no money left and they were very desperate for cash. Now, does it really make sense for people like me and you to start investing in this company? Now, we'll come back to this. But first, let's start with the basics. Now, as we all know what Zomato is, it's basically a tech platform that connects us, which are consumers, our customers, to our local restaurant partners or big food chains like Domino's, KFC, and all of these helps in basically getting the service to our doorstep. And obviously, they have a lot of amazing drivers who come really fast and give you your food hot and juicy, right? Now, Zomato is not only into food delivery, they also have 4 different business lines, mainly which include a restaurant listing business where one can list his or her restaurant or sometimes even their own dark kitchen. And that basically they also take some money from ads so that you get listed right on the top. It also provides some fresh ingredients and supplies to restaurants, which is their B2B business called Hyperpure. And finally, their most debated business, which is their venture capital investment wing. Yes, so Zomato invests or buys other startups from this. Now, can you imagine a company like Zomato that has no money in their own bank account, is not profitable, but still buying loss-making companies? And that is exactly what we're going to talk about, which is Blinkit, and we'll talk about that also in the coming section, right? And finally, their main business, which is food delivery services, where they get a lot of revenue. But how did this all start? Now, from getting ready to go to restaurants to eat outside, we ended up ordering everything with a single click to our doorsteps. And basically, Indians welcome this style of food delivery. Basically, it made me very lazy, and after COVID this actually hit really well with us, right? It became a super success. Now, India is a very cost sensitive market, and a lot of food delivery business gets crushed over the next few years. Now, and it's not wrong also to say that this business is really a cash burning machine, because over the years several competition like Uber Eats, Food Panda, Tiny Owl and Scootsy have either been acquired by these businesses or shut down their complete businesses. And the only 2 people left fighting, as we all know, was Zomato and Swiggy. Now, Zomato is obviously an IPO company, but Swiggy is a well-funded competition with $5 billion, and their net worth is slightly higher than Zomato as well. Now, let's look at India's food service industry, right? The food service industry's total size was $64 billion as of FY22, and now this is projected to grow at a 9% CAGR over the next 3 years to achieve $87 billion by 2025. Now, you see, obviously the potential for Zomato and Swiggy, whoever's there, is really right for this entire industry. But let's be honest, guys, these companies have changed the behavior of everyone and they have reduced our dependency on home cooked food. Even me, I would love ordering food just for the thrill that I can get so many different varieties of food, right? Now, apart from that, let's take out the elephant in the room, the $1 million question. Should you invest in Zomato? Now, let's analyze this a little bit more. You see, in investing, everything comes at a cost. And when you invest in any company, you are basically investing in a double-edged sword, right? If you don't develop a good idea or a good thesis or antithesis about a company, you will definitely suffer. So let's answer these questions one by one. Starting off, let's look at the positives of the company. It seems like finally Zomato is shifting its focus towards profits, and Zomato is cutting cost by reducing advertising heavily. Number one, right? The second thing is Zomato has recently faced a lot of heat after its Blinkit acquisition and has posted a set of bad results, and the market has also factored that in.
Then Zomato has reported its quarterly numbers, and its consolidated net loss has almost tripled from the comparable quarter to 359.7 crore rupees, and that compares with 63 crore rupees that it reported in the comparable quarter.
So Zomato has fallen from 150 to 555 rupees right now and currently trading at around 60 rupees right now. So already I think the worst is over. Now we spoke about the positives, but now let's look at some of the negatives. Now COVID-19 affected a lot of businesses, but it was an angel in disguise for these type of companies, which was Zomato and Swiggy, right? Now people avoided going out, and as a result volume of orders surged on these food delivery platforms, and now things are normalizing and we are now going out of our houses again and now looking at ambience and looking at the candlelight dinners and eating again, right? Now what happens is, if I'm starting to go out right now and my consumer behavior is going back to the old self, then the volumes will dry up for Zomato, and Zomato only lives on volumes. Now if Zomato does not find a way to become profitable, then problems will become double, triple. And how do they become profitable? They have to charge me for delivery services, right? Another factor that can play a part in Zomato's fall is the fact that the growth estimates do not play out as expected, and people stop ordering food because recently we have seen the price of items seen on the menu versus the restaurant is vastly different, right? And you've seen this, which came on Twitter as well, where buying something on Zomato versus buying something in a restaurant, there's a huge 20-30% difference. So already we're paying 20-30% extra on the app, and we're paying very high delivery charges as well. So I might just go outside and order, or maybe just Dunzo it, right? Now the entire sector has been going through a period of readjustment as the focus is shifting from growth to cash flow. Now the biggest food delivery company in the world, DoorDash, is also down 60%, and all other big players are also down 55-60%, while Zomato obviously being the worst performing stock till date. Now let's look at an antithesis, right? Now Zomato is a play on the growing food services industry in India, as well as increasing adoption of digital commerce. Now with only 15 million monthly transacting users currently, Zomato has a long runway for a customer acquisition and revenue growth. Now this may come at a cost in the near term profitability, but hey, if things start making sense, then it doesn't change a lot for the perception to change. And now the most debated topic, which is Zomato's acquisition of Blinkit. Now what is Blinkit, right? Now Blinkit is formerly called as Grofers. It's an instant grocery delivery service. It pivoted fully to a quick commerce model actually in Jan 2022 versus the next day grocery delivery model, right? And in the last 5 months, Blinkit has seen a 50% increase in monthly orders. At 7.9 million orders in May, Blinkit is 1/5 of the size of Zomato's currently in terms of gross order value, right? And basically in markets such as Gurugram, it has got 60% of Zomato's gross order value, which speaks a lot about the possible opportunities that Zomato can get from this Blinkit acquisition. Now here's another problem. Blinkit's operations are restricted only to 15 cities currently versus 1,000 cities and towns that Zomato is in. So that means penetration has not happened. And today Blinkit adds 11% to the revenue on an annual run rate basis. But there's a flip side to this, and why people are not happy with this acquisition, right? The flip side is basically called cash burn. Now Blinkit is also burning cash, and Edelweiss basically noted that Blinkit's annualized cash burn stands at 1,290 crores, and the management expects it to remain well within the guided 400 million burn for the next 2 years. The company has scaled down its dark stores from 450 to 400 in the last 6 months, basically 50 stores, right? Which has helped it reduce its monthly burn from 200 crores to 110 crores over Jan to May, which is again very difficult to believe as well. Now, let's look at the final future possibilities, right? Zomato's story possibly fits best in the sentence. It is known all over India. We know its merits. Now we know also its demerits. We've seen the thesis and antithesis as well. Now, if it really does show some good governance and tries to improve the way it operates on a financial side and cut some losses, then it has a possibility to become one of the biggest food delivery companies in our country. And if Blinkit starts its operations in more than 1,000 cities on the backbone of Zomato's infrastructure, then people will develop the habit of ordering groceries as well along with their food. And the amount of money it can make for Zomato is also a game changer. But I know there are many ifs, there are many buts. Also there's a problem because Zomato's founder does not have a lot of equity in the game. So we don't know what might happen, right? So we have to look at both good sides, we have to look at the bad sides, and only then make a decision whether you want to buy or not. But I'm looking at all the negatives, all the positives, and I'm looking at the stock price right now, and the stock price has come down to a very low number right now. Whether it will go up very fast, time will tell, because it depends on how corporate governance and how Zomato actually structures their company, right? But looking at this, I don't think further degradation or further stock price falling down unless a very big news comes out is possible on the cards. So the risk reward ratio, if you look at it, the risk of it going down is slightly lower, whereas the reward looks slightly massive. But again, this is over a very long period of time with all ifs and buts. Okay, so now I hope you've got some understanding of Zomato, what we've done, what is the good parts, what are the bad parts, what's happening with Zomato's Blinkit acquisition. Is it good? Is it bad? Some people are saying it's good, some people are saying it's bad. We don't know, right? We will come to know in the next few months. But as good fundamental investors, every quarter we will track Zomato and we'll figure out what needs to be done. I hope you guys like this episode, and if you did, click on that like button, share this video with your friends and subscribe. This is me, Shashank Goduppa, signing off. Take care. See you guys. Bye.